Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Check. Check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check, check. 1, 2. You good, Jane? Yeah. Check, check. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Just again trying to generate some offense. Some guys, you could tell some guys were a little bit on, and some guys a little bit off. So I switched them up.
Rick, the team said that it felt like it got to its game today. I know it doesn't get the result it's looking for, but is there a sense of pride in the fact that your team goes out at least fighting like that, or is some of that taken away from the fact they admittedly say it took too long for them to get to their game in this series?
It took too long, but listen, in the 2 years, that's by far the best playoff game we've played. It didn't go our way tonight. A couple of goals went in off of us. We had some chances that we didn't score. Where was that in the first 4 games? That's a question we're going to have to answer ourselves over the course of the summer. But we're way ahead of where we were at this point last year when we lost. Way ahead. The team made a lot of great strides during the course of the season. We had a great regular season. We did 4th in the league. Is there a lot to learn from this series when you compare tonight to the previous 4? Absolutely. When you lose game 3 and 4, you're because of the penalty kill. So we gotta grow from there. But tonight, listen, I'm proud of the effort of the guys. They fought right till the end. It just didn't go our way tonight, but there's growth. We had a great regular season, and again, learn from tonight.
Rick, I was there in Vegas last year during the pushback press conference, and this is such a world different from that. You guys played
100%. Yeah, I'm very proud of the guys tonight. Very proud.
Yeah, it feels different. It feels different amongst them as well. Josh Morrissey just spoke to the idea that, hey, I hope this stings. I hope that this stings all of us for the summer and that we learn from it, use it as a growth opportunity. Is that kind of, you've also sort of echoed it, is that the collective message that everybody needs?
There's no moral victories. There's growth. You got to grow. And we took a lot of strides as a group this year. We grew a lot, and we did. That's why we were 110 points and led the league in goals against. Now, is there still room for growth? Absolutely. It's obvious when you compare tonight to the previous 4 that, okay, this is what the playoffs are. Now, why it took to the 5th game to get there, we'll have to answer those questions, but we will, and we'll grow from it. We grew a lot over this because you compare this team to last year, there's very little comparison. This team is much better, much tighter, and we made a lot of huge strides. We did. It didn't show itself for the first 4 games. I know that. I get that. So that's something we all have to live with. That's something we have to answer to. But again, it's growth, and we'll take it from there.
Rick, what are the primary reasons why you couldn't get to the defensive game that you did play so well during the regular season?
First of all, I'll give them a lot of credit, man. They played great. There is no comparison to what we saw in the regular. Their intensity and their speed went way up in the playoffs from what we saw, and we knew that. So that was the biggest difference during the regular season to this right now is their pace and their intensity at which they played with. They won a Stanley Cup, and it showed itself this series. It did. They raised their battle level more than anything. They raised their battle level. The races, battles. The playoffs. That's when it's going to come down to. Who's willing to go to the net harder, and who's willing to take a hit to make a play. Who's willing to win battles in the corners and the boards. That's what it comes down to. Then the other things take into place. But that's the best they've played. And give them credit for that.
Rick, I know it's fresh and you went through a lot this year personally and also with the team. Just wondering if it's completely up to you. It's your intention to remain here in Winnipeg and keep coaching this team?
We just lost in the playoffs. We'll figure that out.
What makes the difference at this time of year?
For what? For the team?
Yeah.
It's the intensity. It is. It really is. The playoff intensity goes way up, and you can talk about it all you want. The teams that have won know how to get there. They got there tonight. They flipped this series. They flipped a switch. I watched their last game against Vegas, and after we had beaten them 7-0, and they took their game way up against Vegas. So I saw there's a different team That was during the regular season. So again, you get to this stage. Are you at the end of a playoff series? If you're not putting an ice bag all on yourself, you're not playing hard enough. Simple as that.
Just wonder, Rick, after a playoff series like this where your team looked quite a bit different than it did during the regular season, we often hear players talk about, looking for answers. As a coaching staff, do you guys look for answers? Is there anything in hindsight, or maybe it's too early to say, anything you would have done differently in this series, whether it's personnel or systemic?
Yeah, for sure. We lost. We didn't win. So hindsight's 20/20. That's the one thing about it. But you do learn. Okay, you have to look back. Okay, that didn't work. That was a mistake. You have to be honest with yourself, which we will be very honest with ourselves as a staff about what we did right and what we did wrong and what we have to do better. We will be very, very honest about that. We always are.
Rick, how do you ensure that learning from those lessons means taking your game to the next level?
Well, so you go into next season and you bring this up. Like last year, we went into camp and we brought up how we looked at the end of the year. Now you go into training camp and you say that's how that's how it's got to look starting again. From the playoff experience, and you hope it grows. Listen, this is a proud group and it's a tight group, and they're hurt. They're hurting right now, but that's not a bad thing. They should hurt. Last year there's a different hurt. We didn't battle, right? Tonight we battled, so there's a different hurt. But you still have to learn that you still have to take that game to another level. You do. Playoffs are a whole different animal, man. And if you can't raise your game to that intensity, you don't win the Stanley Cup. You know how hard it is to get there? I've been there 4 times. You know how hard it is to get there? It's hard. And your players are beat up when you get there. So,
how do you know this group of players can even do that?
well, that's again, those are questions we have to answer over the course of the summer. Thank you all. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, everybody, for the Winnipeg media, I'll keep you posted in the next, probably tonight, what the situation will be for exit days, and I don't know whether it's tomorrow or Thursday. Thank you.
If you have time, yeah.
Okay, we'll take questions for Nathan and Mikko. Go ahead, start off, Corey.
I guess just for Mikko, what you seemed like you were pretty frustrated early in the game. Snapped the stick in half. Just, I guess, how much did the first one get you going, and your thoughts on the series?
Yeah, well, puck wasn't really bouncing at times to our way, but so that's what happens. Sometimes you get frustrated. Obviously, try to avoid doing that. Overall, series was really good for us. I think we got better after every game. We kind of looked at things we could do better, and I think we ramped it up after each game. So really happy with the performance, and we keep moving now from here.
John.
Nathan, your coach talked before the game about the scar tissue this team has built up over the years from past disappointments, and the Jets just finished talking about your ability to elevate and battle the way you did in this series. I wonder what you could, reveal or tell us about how you take that scar tissue and turn it into this team's ability to elevate over and over again in this series.
Yeah, I think over the years you just learn that there's going to be highs and lows, and it's how you react to it along the way. And super happy with everyone, how hard we worked and how hard we battled. This series was amazing. Before the series, I think we came in really humble. We weren't playing well. These guys just beat us 7-0, so it was a big wake up call to how hard it takes to even win a series in this league. So super proud of the guys, and a lot of work left to do here.
Go ahead, Rob.
Nate, sort of following up on that, from a Jets perspective, every time they tied it up, every time they got a big kill, their momentum was cut short by you guys fairly quickly, I would say. Is there something that you can characterize the playoff intensity of having that resilience to always take over when the moment comes?
I just think everyone's on the same page. A lot of similarities to the year we won. I think we just know everyone in that room is going to give everything they have. And that's the standard. And obviously, whether you score or don't, some of that stuff is out of your control, but you can control your effort and how hard you work. And we got everyone on the same page right now, battling. And, whether we win or lose, we just want to go out swinging. And we had a great series in that sense.
Okay, go ahead, Corey.
For either of you, I think the fourth line had a really good shift right before you guys scored the first goal, and then obviously Yakov got one. Just sort of the depth contributions you guys got in this series.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think the way they, I would say all four lines and especially bottom six is played. I think the momentum they create, like you said, like ozone face-offs, or second period we can change our line or the second line out there when they got the other team hemmed in. So I think they've been doing a really good job, and obviously a big goal by Trent, so we were happy to see that too.
Go in the back, Jesse.
Mikko, Yakov told us that he was happy that he was proud of the fact that Georgie was able to shut up the haters after game one. Just what can you say about what Georgie did for you guys on that?
Yeah, it shows mental toughness from him. I think he was, obviously it's tough probably after the first game and frustration, but the way he reset and won 4 in a row for us, and there were some games when he was making those game savers, I would say, they were going up or tie the game, but he was out there and stopping the puck really well. So really happy for him and proud of him.
Evan?
It's either for either of you, but Casey Middleset hadn't played playoff game before this series, but how much has he changed what this team can do, his presence, and I guess the matchups that maybe you guys get on a nightly basis?
Yeah, I think he was super impressive. I mean, him and Lecky and Z were unreal this series, and just watching Mitzi, how hard he competes out there. I think a lot of people didn't expect that out of him, but man, he competed hard and made some great plays and had some great poise, and looked like he's been there lots. So he's an awesome guy. Works really hard, and that whole line was great. They huge reason why we won the series. They're awesome.
Last one, with Sean.
Either of you who wants to take this to the points about your depth in this series. You guys have a lot of guys on this team who didn't go to that cup with you and didn't experience that. And I'm wondering how you kind of get players who haven't been there. Who are the guys who do it? Who are the leaders who kind of get those guys up to the same pressure that you guys have experienced before and respond to it the way they did?
I think everyone does. I think all the new guys, when they come in, they understand what, Bedsy wants out of us, what, guys have been here for a while want out of each other. Obviously, it's a high standard, but we have fun doing it. I think we have a lot of fun every day. But yeah, we do have a lot of guys still from that team, but like you said, a lot of new guys too. But it's not rocket science. I just think the biggest thing is just rolling with the punches. It's not going to be pretty. We're not going to have leads every night, and just to not break mentally ever, and just keep pushing and pushing, because the momentum can switch at any time. Especially on the road, I think it's hard sometimes to play at home. A lot of pressure. You're supposed to kill teams, and so we know it's hard to hold leads. The year we won, we came back 10 or 11 times. So I just think just knowing that, and yeah, that's kind of our key.
Good. All right, thanks, guys. Jared Venner will be up next.
Yep, go ahead and take questions for Jared. Corey, you want to start us?
The fourth line had a big shift before the first goal, and then Yakov scored. You've talked about the depth over and over in the series, but just that line tonight, what were they able to accomplish?
All series long, I thought that was like their forechecking through the course of the series was outstanding. The work that they put in to not only put pressure on their D, but to come up with pucks, the physicality, playing to their identity as a line was outstanding, and they got rewarded for their hard work.
Go ahead, Rob.
One of the messages kind of coming out of the Winnipeg room and Winnipeg media was that they hope it stings. They hope that they learn the lessons that they need to do. And it's clearly a journey that you guys have been on at times.
Yeah.
What have you learned that sort of that you've seen, I guess, from your own group evolve the way they needed to do?
Well, I mean, every time you don't win, regardless of you going out in the first, second, third round, whatever it is, there's heartbreak, because your team ultimately puts in 8 months of work, and then their off-season work again, and then come and try to reset and do it again. And when you don't finish on the top of the league, it's heartbreaking, right? Because you're putting so much work into it. And I just felt like I touched on this the other day, that our group didn't happen immediately. We lost a handful of times in the second round, and then like they just really dialed into the commitment that it takes, and the sort of the pursuit of perfection that it takes in order to try and win. And like our team never shortchanges sun or effort. Sometimes we play better than other times, but like they're committed to what we're doing, and ultimately it comes down to playing your best hockey at the right time, and that's over 2-week periods in the playoffs, and you got to do it 4 times in order to win, and our guys understand that. So it's just that commitment and buy-in to what you need to do to have success, and you hope the regular season kind of teaches you some lessons and teaches you the habits and details and commitment and competitiveness that you need to win, and then you got to reset, and you got to get ready to try to accomplish that through the playoffs 2 weeks at a time. And our guys have been really dedicated to that, and they've grown from that. Their mental toughness has increased every year for us, and we've got great leadership in there. So I used to hate that saying that you got to lose before you win, but realistically, like after we won in 2022, I know that was part of it. Losing the handful of years before, when we thought a team thought we had a team that could win. Even our guys said it, like we thought we were ready last year or the year before, and we finished tops of the league and then didn't get it done. But they learned a lot of lessons from that, and exactly that, knowing that they could push themselves to another level in order to win in 2022. And we were fortunate to have a great team and do that. But those are tough lessons to learn when you really have a good team like Winnipeg does. That's a really good team over there. They played hard the entire series. They're highly competitive. They're rock solid, committed to their defending. I just thought our guys they did a really nice job. Like, I think that's the best hockey we've played for 5 games in a row all season long, and that's what it takes this time of year, and that's partly our experience, I think.
Sean.
That's a crazy building. Explodes with that early goal. They pushed back twice. Nate was just in here talking almost robotically about, in a series, the momentum's going to switch. I'm wondering, when that building is piling on top of you in those moments, what you see from your players and how they respond to it so well.
Yeah, even keel. I just think our team, like, there's a strong belief in how we do things. There's a strong commitment in how we do things throughout our whole team, led by Nate and those guys, our leadership group, the guys that have been here for 8 years with me. And like, they're just not gonna ride the roller coaster. I just don't see that from our team. Not in regular season. Like, we had our ups and downs in regular season as well, but they continue to rise to the occasion at key times, and I like they score early, right? And I didn't hear one peep on our bench. No one even said, "Hey, don't worry about it." Nothing. Like, it was just like business as usual, and you could kind of see that from the timely goals we got. Right, we answer back how many times right after they score to tie it. It was just go out and have a good shift the next shift and try to turn this thing around. And we talk a lot about not worrying too much about what the score is in the game, falling behind, getting the lead. It's the only score that matters is the one at the end of the game, and I just felt like our team had that approach the whole night. You certainly got to be able to make plays and answer back at times, and tonight, like, it was impressive what our team did. Answering back a number of times to sort of get us back with the lead and be able to continue to play the way we wanted to play, and that was a full team effort.
Kyle.
Scary moment there with Zach Parise getting the head contact. Were you satisfied just with how his return to the locker room went and how he was feeling? And also, just beyond that, is it a possibility that Jonathan Drouin could play in the second round?
Yeah, it fits the timeline. He's got a long way to go yet, Drew, because he hasn't hit the ice yet, right? Like, he's still working on his rehab. The timeline was, 4 weeks or less. We're still hoping for that. And, he's making progress. There's no question. So I'm hoping that he can get back. We'll see how long that other series goes and just how much time we have. Kivi Ranta would be another guy that still needs some time to get back. We have him as day-to-day, but he's been pretty sore here the last few days. To be able to get fully healthy, the more time we have, the better, But, yeah, I thought, like, Zach the puck takes a funny bounce off the boards, and he starts adjusting to try to make the play on the puck and sort of falls down. He's down low, and the guy kind of gets him a lot of head and upper body, and it was, he got put in a tough situation by the puck bounce. I don't think it was a dirty hit by any means. He was coming hard to finish him physically, and but they looked at him. He was clearly shaken up a little bit, more neck than like anything head related, which is a positive for us. And now he'll get some time as well.
Francois.
Yesterday about Samuel Girard, he had to wait before coming and join you guys. Are you satisfied with his level of play right now? And what more versatility does it give to you guys when he's in the lineup and not?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, he makes a huge difference in our team. Like, early in the series, we split up Taves and Makar. Some of it matchup related, but I mean, he's been outstanding since he's been back with the team, and him and Manson as a pair have a really good chemistry. I like the mix of their puck moving ability and their ability to defend. But he's been rock solid as a defender for us, and both guys. A lot of pride in their defending details and the way they defend and take pride in shutting down other teams' top lines. Makar and Taves get a lot of ozone starts because of who they play with and icings and whatnot, and those guys seem to do a little bit more of the heavy lifting at times, depending on how the game's going with D-zone starts. But that pair has been able to chip in offensively, and help other teams create offense. He's invaluable to our team, especially once we made the trade to move Bo Byram for Middlestad and get deeper in the middle of the ice and solidify that second line. Gerard's, him and Manson they've been heavily relied upon.
Jesse.
Coach, by my quick count, I think it was 24 goals on Connor Hellebuck, who's a Vezina finalist in just 5 games. What was making the offense hum the way that it was?
It's the work from our forward group. I touched on this after game 1. I think that, and when I say that's the best our team's played over a 5-game stretch during the year, that's all, that's just my opinion. It's an important time of the year. So when you're able to kind of do what you've done offensively through the course of this series, it's pretty impressive. And that was it's just 12 forwards, and I'm not discounting the D. I'm just like looking at our forwards as a group, the work that they put in, the forechecking pressure, reloading above pucks, all the details that we talk about through the course of the season. I just thought there wasn't many downshifts, and they certainly didn't cheat us on their effort or commitment and their sort of relentlessness on the puck. They were outstanding. They were a physical group. They were determined to get to the net. And when you have 12 guys doing that, that's hard to play against.
Megan.
We saw Georgiev's on-ice response to the tough outing in Game 1, and he's bounced back from low points in the regular season before, but with the spotlight brighter in the postseason, was there anything different you noticed in how he handled everything moving past Game 1?
I just thought that it's the quickness in what he turned it around, right? It's the timing of it. It would be more difficult to turn it around under the spotlight in the playoffs, especially after that outing. And so to believe in yourself and then to do a self-evaluation, reset, and be mentally tough enough to come out and do what he did in this series is impressive. I gained a lot of respect for Gordy because he's turned it around multiple times during the year after some tough outings or tough stretches, but to be able to do it immediately and understand the importance and put that pressure on yourself and still be able to go and get the job done 4 games in a row, because he had an outstanding series, really. Take Game 1 out of it. After that, he was a difference maker for us. So, yeah, great job by him. That's just straight mental toughness for me.
Last 3, Evan.
Nate said that the way the regular season ended kind of humbled the team coming into the playoffs. Do you like that you have such a veteran squad that they can still be humbled and, find things that they can improve heading into the postseason?
Oh, no question. We didn't play well down the stretch. We didn't, and, I know, media, fans, everyone's in a big panic, but there was no panic in our room. It just wasn't there. They understood that we didn't play well. They identified that. We went through things that we knew we had to do better. They were bought into it and they were committed to it. It's it's kind of where our team is at. It's a veteran group, a really good team. They know what when we play really well, what it looks like. And, I've learned this about our group, that they're going to put the pressure on themselves when it matters most to play well. And so, part of it is an experienced team that thinks they can win down the stretch, just waiting to kind of get to the playoffs. We saw it in 2022. We lost 4 of our last 5. And once we lost, I think it might have been 3 or 4 in a row, we had a game that we said, okay, we have to prove it to ourselves so we all feel it going into the playoffs, and had a great game against St. Louis. And it's kind of what we did a couple times during that 10-game stretch, but too many off days, but they knew, and I don't think there was any doubt in our locker room. We weren't doubting ourselves. We just knew that it was time that we had to have a immediate turnaround. We can't wait. And some of the lack of defending carried into game one, and then that really sort of snapped us to our game, I felt for the rest of the series.
Sean?
You talked about scar tissue this morning. It was Rick Bowness not long ago that inflicted some of that scar tissue on you. I feel like throughout this series, you can feel the respect you have for him in your comments. I wonder what you can share about, what that interaction is, that embrace at center ice, and how you feel about him as a rival.
Well, I just thought that they did an amazing job this year. Coaching staff, Chevy, to put this team together. There was a big trade in the offseason. Guys that made huge impacts to their team. The job Rick and his staff did, the players themselves. That's a really good hockey team. I don't know where they finished ahead of us in the regular season, so there was a push for consistency, just a highly committed defensive effort every night. Great goaltend from the goaltender out, right? And that's a tough team. This first round, we lost in the first round last year. There's no. You're playing 100-point teams in the first round. There's no easy round. You're playing teams that are right there with you, a win or two off over an 82-game season, right? So I know everyone expects you to just be able to advance and win, but it's way more difficult than what people think. You can make your predictions at the start of the year or whatever, but you look at some of the rounds that are going on. Dallas gets Vegas. Well, they finished significantly ahead of Vegas, but everyone knows how good Vegas is. Toronto gets Boston. We get Winnipeg. You just go on and on. Tampa is a rock-solid team with veteran experience. It's still, to me, a contender. They're out in the first round. The opponents you're playing in the first round now, trying to get out of your division, it's. Again, that's why it just comes down to you've got to be at your best for those 2 weeks right away, because the matchups are insane. The 16 teams that made the playoffs deserve to be there, and any one of those teams for me can win the cup.
Last one, Corey.
I think before the game you said Mikko has been sufficient to good at times in this series. Just what do you think tonight?
I thought he was better tonight. Yeah, involved. Listen, I think Mikko had a good series. That's a tough. Credit to Lowry, Niederreiter, Appleton, their D. They did it by committee at times, a little different. I was bouncing them away from those guys on the road. They're playing against a line that's committed fully to checking them. That made it they had to earn every scoring chance they got, and they capitalized with their skill. The play on our goal, McKinnon. Ladders play out to Mikko, and then it's a sauce pass over to Taves, and that was perfectly executed. It was well defended, and then we find Val in the back door for the one-timer. There's a group of 5 guys on there that are really good at what they do to create that goal, and he's a big part of that. I just think, do I think Mikko could have played better in this series? Sure. I think all of our guys could have played better, but their effort was outstanding, and they still I don't know how many points Mikko had in the series, but it's a lot just because he didn't score. To me, that it's not about just scoring, right? He made players around him better at times during the series, and he was highly impactful again tonight for me. So committed on the defensive side. Sometimes it looks different, right? We talked about this with Nate a few years ago. Edmonton. He didn't care if he got a point the whole Edmonton series. He put pressure on himself too, but the job he did on the defending side of it and with his matchups and everything, it takes a little bit of sacrifice away from what you're normally used to in a game, in a series, in order for your team to have success. And Mikko was fully bought into doing whatever he had to do to help our team win, as our other guys were. And I'm not. it has nothing to do with points for me come this time of the year. It's about winning, and we got the job done, and he was a big part of that.
Thank you, Jared.
Yep.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.